Adam here from ALM Tech. I'm going to be comparing the microphone quality of this A50 Gen 5 versus the Gen 4 and the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro. And I've been a big fan of the A50s over the years. I've had the Gen 3, the Gen 4, and now the Gen 5, which is what you're listening to right now. So there's lots of other videos, reviewing the A50 and the A50X, the new Gen 5s, but they don't really focus on the mic quality, and they don't show you the mic mute pop. So that's when you mute your headset, whether it makes a sound, that they can hear on the other end of the call or meeting. Here are the settings in OBS that I'm using to record this video. Here's the video settings. You can see the audio tracks, there are 4 of them. And you can see that each one has a bitrate of 320. And here's the different devices. 48 kilohertz is the sample rate in stereo. Now here's the advanced audio properties in OBS. You can see the 3 different mics down the side here, and they each have their own track. So each microphone is recorded in its own track in the output file. Now I'm not doing any gain on any of the microphones. Everything's set to 0 decibels. Now I'm testing all 3 headsets at the same time. This is a microphone test of each of these 3 headsets. You can see in the top left, there's the audio mixer. Each one is active. Test, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each one is active. Test, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each one is active. Test, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, I'll be testing and comparing the mic mute pop. Alright, here I am on the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro. Going to test the mic mute pop. So it is quite loud, and this is the main reason I'm actually returning this headset, this along with the quality of the microphone. Now I have friends that have the Arctis Pro, not the Arctis Nova Pro, and when they mute themselves, I don't hear it when we're on Discord. It could be, noise suppression on Discord, but I've never heard them mute themselves. So that's a little disappointing for this headset. Maybe it's because its sensitivity is very high, but it does need to be that high for the volume to be loud enough for recording, for example. So here I am testing it again, and now I'm going to actually fumble around trying to find the mute button. So it does have this nice light, the red light that shows you that you're muted. I do like that, but with the A50, it's flipped right up, so it's also pretty obvious. Now I'm testing the mic mute pop on the A50 Gen 5. And again, this is a brand new headset. It's only been around for 4 days. Now this is a test of the mic mute pop on the A50 Gen 4. Now this headset is a few years old, so it could have, it could become loose over the years, and maybe that's why it makes this noise. So here we go. So you can see that the mic does pop when I unmute myself. And hopefully the Gen 5 A50 doesn't do the same thing after a few years of use. Finally, I'll compare the software between these 3 headsets. The SteelSeries software I didn't love. I had to make an account. Don't love doing that. So you open it up, you click on Engine, here's where your headset is. To get the firmware, you just go to the little About thing. And to actually get to the settings, you click on this. And you can close this. Everything is defaults. Gain is set to low. Side tone is set to low. Here's the settings. Mic mute brightness, you can turn that down. It doesn't go all the way off, but you don't want that. Now one thing I don't like about the Arctis Nova Pro is that the OLED screen brightness, I have it on as low as it goes, but it's still pretty bright. And when my computer's off, the USB ports are still powered, so you can still see it. It's glowing up in the room. So I don't love that about this. Now to do any kind of EQ with the Arctis Nova Pro, you have to install their Sonar software, and then this has to be running for that to actually take effect. I don't like running software. Any of the settings here that you set, you don't need to be running it. So it doesn't have to start when computer starts. You don't have this third-party software running in the background. So here's the software for the A50 Gen 4. This is the Astro Command Center. They no longer use this for the Gen 5 since Logitech acquired Astro, I guess is what happened. So the Gen 4 is still using the Astro Command Center. The software is pretty good. It doesn't have a ton of features, but it has what you need. So it shows you the firmware versions here. It automatically checks when you open this. Here's the microphone. So it has the lowest noise gate is called streaming, which I think is pretty much off. However, it doesn't say that, it just says it's the lowest noise gate. And then you can set your side tone and your volume of the mic. The software hasn't been bad. You don't have to make an account or anything like that, so it's been pretty good, but they're not using it going forward. Now here's the software for the A50 Gen 5. This is called Logitech G Hub, and I was hesitant installing it, but I actually kind of like it. You don't have to make an account or anything. I found my webcam, my Brio, which is what you're watching this through. And here's the headset. Shows you battery life. If you click on it, it takes you into all your settings. So you can see I've kept everything default. It's got EQ built right into this if you want to use that. It's got mic EQ as well. I've left everything flat, and the noise gate is off currently. You can turn it up to night, which is a little bit of a noise gate, and then all the way up to tournament, which was crazy too aggressive. And with my voice, it just completely cuts out pretty much. Routing, I didn't mess around with this. And here's the settings. So you can see your firmware version. You can set your side tone. I think it was off by default, but I like being able to hear myself when I'm talking. This A50 Gen 5 is no longer powered, like bus powered by the USB to your PC or console. It's got its own dedicated power port. So even if your computer's off, it's still powered no matter what your BIOS settings are. So it's nice that you can turn that base station brightness down to 0 and it's completely off. Like there's no lights on it right now at all. So I really like that. Now my final thoughts between these three headsets. The SteelSeries, it was a bit of a disappointment, specifically with the microphone quality. Didn't sound very good. And especially the microphone pop, it was way too loud. The A50 Gen 5, this headset I love. It's a huge increase over the Gen 4. The microphone quality specifically is way better. This microphone's 48 kilohertz, and it sounds great. This is the most natural sounding microphone I've tested ever with all of my headsets. So I'm really happy with it. I'm going to be keeping it. So one thing I didn't mention is the sound of the speakers in the headset. Sounds great. I didn't want to focus on that, but they're really nice. So there's lots of other reviews that go over that for this headset. Another thing about this A50 Gen 5 is that it's super comfortable. These foam ear pads are super comfy. Even if you wear glasses, they don't get too hot. I've worn them for hours at a time, and it's comfortable. It doesn't get uncomfortable after a while. So they're really nice. So some cons, it's expensive. But if you're in the market for a good headset and you want to keep for years, this is a good buy. The other thing is that there's no active noise cancellation, and it's got poor sound isolation, but for me, that's a positive. I actually like being able to hear what's going on around me if my kid's, calling me, and it's nice to be able to hear that. If you do need some better noise isolation, you can get third-party ear cups or ear pads that are replacements for the A50, and they fit perfectly. And they do make a pretty big difference in sound isolation. I did that with my Gen 4, and it made quite a big difference. If you found this video helpful and you decided to get an A50, there are affiliate links down in the description, and I get a small cut. Thanks for watching.